Well, here we are. We're at Little H, come down for a bit of a social with Jamie, Nige and Keith. And we decided that we were going to do just a little bit of filming, a bit of an intro on scattered baits and what it was about and where I hopefully going to take it in the years to come. Scattered baits, basically, I've always had an interest in bait. Even from when I was fishing as a kid back on Sutton, I can remember going home, rolling bait at 11, 12 o'clock at night, ready to get back for Sutton on the gate. As I said, scattered baits to me is not only I'm trying to make a living from it, but it's a passion. Carp fishing to me is everything. I've done it from such a young age that, like I said, it was just a natural progression, something that I've had a great interest in putting baits together. Over the years, you learn. Some succeed, some fail, but that's all part of carp fishing. There's not a bit out of there when you're not learning. You're always learning, and bait is a minefield of learning. You know, combinations, what combinations work, what combinations don't work, what levels to put things in, how you want to tweak them, how you want the bait to react. It's all stuff that comes together through actually hands-on experience and doing it, and time on the bank and observation from fish, watching fish feed on your bait. Do they come in a bit finicky? If it's a bait they love, 9 times out of 10 they'll come in and they'll rip the bottom up. And to me, from scattered baits point of view, is I get great joy out of that. I'm now starting to sell it on a larger scale. And you say 2-3 years ago about bait, you like to keep your own personal bait secret and that, but I get more enjoyment now out of someone else catching on it than I do myself. It's an ultimate buzz when I've got an email or someone's phoned me up and said they've had a 30 on it. A friend of mine, Colin, first session on Sutton, had the big fully. Now, to me, that's as good as me catching it again, and I was lucky over the years to have it enough times, but I get a buzz out of it. So that's sort of the intro on scattered baits at the moment. Like from a bait point of view, what I actually want a bait to do, there's many different aspects of how I like a bait to work. First and foremost, it's got to be nutritional to the fish. Being on a smaller scale that I am, everything that I do with a bait and what I've field tested is what I'm selling to the punter. Nothing's been cut, nothing's been dropped out. It's like a personal touch. It's exactly how I would want the bait to look, feel, texture, smell. And by me rolling it personally, I'm passing that on to hopefully the people that go out and use it. One thing I did notice, like 3 years ago, I think it was now, back up on the road lake, went from taking a bait that was very successful on Sutton. I absolutely annihilated them on Sutton on it. Went up to the road lake, picked a fish off with it straight away. Didn't want to get carried away. First trip up there, it was a quick overnighter, managed to bag one. One thing I will tell you, I am very honest. I spent the next 3 months pulling my hair out. And to start off with, I just weren't accepting that it was the bait. What I was actually doing, in the end, I was going around, I was getting them feeding in snags with it, but they wouldn't actually eat it out in the main pond. For whatever reason, it was eventually going, but I think basically it was that washed out effect. They was eating it 3-4 days later. So that year, it was a big learning curve for me. Like I said, I tweaked things. I still ended up with 9 fish, which for a first season on the road lake was pretty good going, you know, put a lot of effort and hours into it. And that close season, I just thought intensely about, right, I'm going back next year, what do I want my bait to do? How do I want it to react? What do I want the fish to do over it? And it was probably one of the first ideas that I've actually come away from sort of flavours, liquid attractors. Although it's got an oil in it, but it's only very minimal. So it was more of a powdered additives. It's got some wicked ingredients in it. But I wanted them powders to leak, but also wash out and break down. So giving you the effect, in theory, that the bait had been there 2 or 3 days. So Mr. Carp comes swimming along over the spot. It's not glugged, it's not stinking to high heaven, and because of the colour of the bait, like a sandy colour, it did go like a really pale colour. It gave you that washed out effect. Like I said, when I went back up to the road the second year with it, it was just instant. And I knew straight away I'd got it right. Not in a big-headed way, because believe me, I'd got punished the first year, but I had to go back and make amends, basically, put things right. And the way they reacted on it, I mean, they were just going Garrity. I think in the end I ended up top rod on there that year. I think I had 20 bites. So, like I said, a little bit on the garlic and black pepper range. That bait was purely for a washed out effect. That's what I wanted the bait to do. I knew the additives were good in it, but I just wanted them to leak. They was putting at very low dosage, so it's not an overpowering bait, even though, hence the name garlic, a lot of people will think, whoa, but it's done at such a minimal amount that the fish responded and reacted to it straight away. Well, another topic since, like I said, since Scattered Baits was formed, which was only 4 months ago, it's taken off not at a fast rate, but at a nice steady pace, which is nice for me. Like I said, basically, it was always pushed by myself, field tested by myself, and I'd got it to the point where people obviously have got to know me a little bit. I'm not in the mags regular, but I've done features, so in my eyes, I'd pushed the bait as far as I could push it. So when it did come on general release, I was very keen to get a couple of anglers on board. One of them being down at Sutton, a fella called Colin. I've also got my consultant Dan Chart that fishes the Road Lake and fishes Morris's. And the results have just been spectacular. As I said, I think I said it a little bit earlier on in the filming. Colin's first session on Sutton produced the big fully. He then went back again, had another 30. By then it was starting to get a little bit of interest from some of the Sutton lads, not all of them, but just a couple of them. Another good friend of mine, Graham East, went on it. 2 sessions, 2 30-pounders, one of them cluster, although it was spawned out. So the bait was starting to pick up a bit of pace. Dan was using it up at the Road Lake, and then was very fortunate to get a Morris's ticket. And I think in the 6 or 7 sessions he's done, he's basically had 1 blank, I think. Not monsters, I think he's had 130, but it's all good. It's all good captures, it's all good press, it's all good feedback to me. It's positive feedback to me. It's also a bait that I would not hesitate. It's not just an out-and-out big fish bait. My son Ollie's been doing a little bit on Sutton Car Park Lake through the summer holidays, and yet to blank. As I said, at the moment, I've been field testing another one that we'll be bringing out probably early part of next year. First session up on the Road Lake, very fortunate, bagged a dink. That was it, job done as far as I was concerned on the Road Lake. Fish that I'd spent all winter up there for. And it was the back end of the season, things started warming up a little bit, so I thought, right, time to give the new fish meal a go. And it produced the dink, as I said, at 39.12. It speaks for itself. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have to speak about it now. I'm letting other people speak about it for me. And the results are there, which to me, in my eyes, you can't ask for any more. It's not just catching out of the odd lake, it's catching sort of around the southeast. It's starting to sort of pick up, like I said, a bit of pace. I'm very fortunate that the tackle box, once I'd gone through with what I wanted to actually do, was very keen to get it in the shop. I know it's selling very well out of there. Fellas are going in and even commenting that they're catching wherever they're fishing. I'm not sure where they're fishing, but they're catching regular on it. Also, another shop that was very keen to get it on board was Mark II Angling. They've been a big help to me from day one. So I've got 2 shops at the moment where things are sort of trailing out nicely, and the feedback that I'm getting back from it is all good. So, like I said, the one that I'm bringing out in the summer for next year, I think, is even better than the one that's out there at the moment.